Hey everyone, how's it going? Delrith here, bringing you another rapid fire review, this time for the game Dragon Quest Builders 2. Dragon Quest Builders 2 was developed by Square Enix and Omega Force for the PS4 and the Switch. So first things first, what is Dragon Quest Builders 2? Well, it's a voxel-based RPG with an emphasis on creating massive structures, managing NPCs in towns, and adventuring around on a story-driven massive set of islands. It's basically everything you would expect a Japanese Minecraft to be, even having Akira Toriyama as an artist, making it look a lot like another franchise a ton of us love. Dragon Ball. Cough. Before I get into things, I want to let everyone know that no, I did not play the first one, but due to the constant prodding from the community while I streamed, I went back and did my research on how the game has improved. I made sure to check out all the mechanics and to get the general gist of the story so that I'd be darn well informed for writing this review. To answer two questions that people will have immediately, yes, you can sprint now, and no, weapons and hammers don't degrade anymore. There's also fast travel. I also have to apologize for the delay on not getting it out earlier. Even with the 2 days of early access I was given, this game is an absolute monster to plow through. The story itself ran at about 50 hours, if you were rushing it like I was, and there was so much side stuff to do and things to explore that I was constantly getting sidetracked. So, as far as art style goes, this game frickin' rocks. I'm just going to get that straight out and say that I love everything that they did with the aesthetic and design of DQ Builders 2. Akira Toriyama doing a fantastic job with his style and honestly making it feel like I was playing a voxel Dragon Ball the entire way through. I'd say this game was even more so Dragon Ball than the other Dragon Quests are, as they seem to just have completely gone over the top with similarities in the design. Heck, the main character even has Super Saiyan styled hair. All the faces and the designs of every character are extremely Dragon Ball-esque, especially the monsters, with the world itself heavily complementing the design choice that they went with. Oh my god, he's slapping his butt at me, dude. What an asshole. I loved every new unique introduction to every new NPC and thoroughly enjoyed every area in the entire game, with none of them looking bad in the slightest to me. They also didn't make the entire game voxel-esque either, with all the decorations, characters, and equipment being extremely high-quality models simply placed on the voxel world for the sake of building. It was a very unique way of doing things, and it was all just so darn charming, something that constantly encouraged me to get out and explore every nook and cranny of each island the game takes you to. The animations rock too. From picking up blocks to attacking and doing special moves, they all look great, reminding me of Dragon Ball even more at times, especially with the Nito particle effects tossed in. I really couldn't find anything to complain about or nitpick in the visual sense. They nailed it all around and succeeded entirely in doing what they were going for with the art style, a great Dragon Ball-esque Minecraft. I will say, though, that I wish the characters would have had voices to them, as there are, as far as I can remember, no voice segments throughout the entire playthrough. Every character just sort of grunts and makes Link sounds, responding with "Hiya! Rai!" and whatnot when you're in dialogue options. It would have added a lot to the game for them to have voice characters, both English and Japanese, but with the sheer hours of written dialogue, I can completely understand that it probably would have cost a fortune. Side note, I didn't suffer through any crashes, glitches, or game-breaking issues on my entire playthrough on the PS4 Pro. However, I did get a lot of FPS issues in some areas, and reportedly it's even far worse on the Switch. At times I was dropping down to about 20 FPS, and I can't imagine how bad it would have been on the other console, given the fact that it has far less power. Keep that in mind if you're going to buy it. So how was the story of Dragon Quest Builders 2? Well, it follows after the first game, with the main character, you, being what's known as a builder. Basically, you're the only competent person in the game able to build basic things and function as a human being, while everyone else sees you as some sort of building god when you make simple things. The main baddies of the game are known as the Children of Hargon, an evil cult that simply wants to destroy everything that everyone has ever made and thinks all the builders are jerks who should go away. You'll be running around from island to island and rebuilding each one as part of the main story, meeting a ton of unique and interesting characters throughout. After completing the main islands, you'll bring specific characters back to your main island, a sandbox sort of place, where you could do whatever you want with all the resources from your previous adventures. It's a very simple story, but something that was entirely refreshing to have in a voxel builder game, and it was just enough to keep me satisfied the entire way through with how the narrative played out. I really hate the noises they make. I don't want to hear it. It's so annoying. I laughed at a couple key points as well, with a lot of the dialogue and mini stories being totally charming. Gameplay, as I stated previously, is very Minecrafty, with the whole primary focus being around mining materials, building various buildings, and working to restore or build major parts of the world. There's literally dozens of different buildings and rooms that you can create through the use of various decorations and objects, each one actually serving different purposes and being utilized by your citizens of your town. These rooms include things like showers, barns, dormitories, relaxation rooms, smithies, luxury bedrooms, you name it, and they've got it. Each one will need to be built at some point for you to unlock the blueprint, all earned through progressing through the story and being given to you along the way. I was actually staggered at the sheer volume of things that you could discover, place, and create that actually had function. It was, to me, the extra kick that the voxel creation games needed in the RPG direction. If you're someone that considers themselves a completionist, you will have dozens upon dozens of hours of experimenting, exploring, and searching to do to get all the blueprints, a lot of them being earned through mini challenges that persist in the world. I think I'm about 50 hours in at this point, and I've unlocked maybe only half of the available designs and patterns, if that gives you any idea of the sheer volume of them. Throughout your play, you'll be given a lot of fancy builder's tools, things like an infinite water pot to make lakes, a trowel to mass replace blocks with other types, or a flute that shows you rare resources through walls, all of which added more variety to how I played. I continually was unlocking these things until the very end, and I enjoyed the fact that every single one got used quite frequently. None of them felt worthless. Eventually, you even unlock things like monster taming and pets, which was, by the way, like 30 hours into the game, adding even more things for you to do late into your journey. Combat is actually pretty decent. Most of it, however, will consist of you simply mashing triangle towards enemies and every so often enabling a combo with one of your companions, but bosses and mini-bosses had enough attack variety that it never really got stale. You'll come across a lot of optional world bosses while exploring and need to figure out their attack patterns to not die, something that kept me interested even with the repetitive nature of stabbing things in the shins forever. Beat him up! Oh, yeah, your bases will also get attacked, which is something I thought was super interesting, and some of the bosses themselves will absolutely trash everything you've come to love and own. It's pretty harrowing the first time a boss thrashes and annihilates your entire city, although you quickly learn after each fight the citizens will rebuild everything and revert it to the way it was. This sort of destruction and mayhem mechanic was awesome, and I would love to see more of that sort of thing in games in the future. Anyway, I have two major complaints about Dragon Quest Builders 2. The first one is multiplayer. It's extremely limited and really disappointing as a whole for me. As it stands right now, as far as I'm aware, you're only able to invite people to your sandbox island and build with them in a non-story capacity. I was looking forward to being able to do the story and go through the entire game with a friend, something you're not currently capable of doing. On top of that, multiplayer is gated and doesn't unlock for, this is no exaggeration, around 8 to 10 hours of gameplay. This game had the potential to be one of the best co-op experiences I've ever had, if they had introduced co-op throughout, and it's super sad that they didn't. I had a few friends buy the game specifically to play with them, only to find out how limited it was, and it was a total bummer. The second thing is that the tutorial seemingly goes on forever, and even though I know that this is a trend with the Dragon Quest games, 12 plus hours of hand-holding is far too long. I think the game only stopped holding my hand and tutoring me on simple concepts as around the 20 hours mark, and at that point I was absolutely sick and tired of it. Huh? No! 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 Fuck you! No! 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 I am not building you a third fucking bar! No! No! It was, bar none, the longest tutorial sequence that I've ever had to endure in a game, and I just felt so limited and antsy that it was great when they finally let me do what I want. The first few islands are nothing but resets, forcing you to learn simple mechanics again, each one frustratingly taking away everything you've learned in the previous tutorial to start over from scratch over and over. It almost felt like the game was treating me as if I was an idiot, as I think even children would have been able to grasp the Minecraft concept in the first few hours of playing. I won't hesitate in saying that I hated the hand-holding, and I had wished that I'd been given the freedom to do what I want far earlier in the game. It took all of my effort at some points, especially during the prison trope, the whole everything gets stolen from you part of the game, to keep going and push through to the fantastic enjoyment that I got later on. And at times, I gotta be honest, I almost quit because of it. In the next game, I hope and pray they cut the tutorial treatment down to less than 6 hours, as 20 is just far too much right now. Overall, though, I can say at least with confidence that Dragon Quest Builders 2 was a mostly positive experience, with the game itself being entirely charming and fun as heck when you finally do get to do what you want. The exploration and RPG aspects of it really help pull it together into a satisfying package, and I can fully suggest it to anyone who enjoys Minecraft, Trove, or anything similar. I'm going to keep playing it even after writing this review in my spare time. It's just entirely so much fun to build in, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. Dragon Quest Builders 2 gets a solid 8 out of 10. Had the multi been co-op through the entire way, it could have easily been the 9 that I wanted it to be, and with the tutorial being shorter, quite possibly even a 10 out of 10. That's going to be it for this rapid fire review. If you'd like to do me a solid and hit that like button and subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, ring the bell to get notifications on new videos we make in the future. Oh yeah, and if you like the rapid fire reviews or would like to see when I'm doing them live on Twitch, you can head over to my Twitter at AJSADelrith and give me a follow. I'd super appreciate it. Until the next video, this is Delrith, and I'll be seeing ya.